Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Timothy Miller to sing your national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening, good afternoon. Hello, Atlanta. Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Madden. I am the CEO of the National Archives Foundation. Thank you for this warm welcome. We're thrilled that you could join us for this momentous and historic day as the Freedom Plane lands using a special call sign, Archive 1. We're delighted that Atlanta, Georgia is the second stop on this historic tour. 250 years of incredible history of our nation, and moments like this come together just one generation at a time. It's truly something extraordinary. The Freedom Plane National Tour is just that, one of the flagship opportunities and initiatives for America's 250th, and this has never been done before. The Freedom Plane Tour highlights a key aspect of the mission of the National Archives and the National Archives Foundation, which is to share these historic records with the American public. We've traveled here today with 9 original documents from Kansas City, Missouri. These documents, which began as declarations, have stood the test of time and become the living system that have lasted, evolved, and define us today, working towards a more perfect union. Seeing the original documents firsthand will invite reflection and dialogue and renewed civic spirit. It reminds Americans from sea to shining sea that our democracy is a living part of our society, one that is sustained and carried forward by every generation. It's a privilege to welcome this remarkable exhibition to Atlanta and to reflect on the founding era and what it means for Georgia. I'd like to thank our generous sponsors of the National Archives Foundation that made this tour possible: the Boeing Company, Comcast Corporation, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, and with additional support from the FedEx Corporation. And now, without further ado, please let me welcome Sheffield Hale, the President and CEO of the Atlanta History Center. He and his incredible team have done a great job in graciously hosting us, and we're delighted to be here.
Thank you, Patrick. Wow, this is incredible. And thank you, Patrick, and the National Archives for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Just 10 miles from here, on Auburn Avenue, Martin Luther King Jr. was born. He was shaped by the city's culture and promise, even as segregation worked to deny him and his neighbors the guarantees written in the very documents we have now on this aircraft. From Atlanta, he carried that unfinished promise to the Lincoln Memorial and declared that the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were a promissory note on which every American is entitled to collect. The night before he was assassinated, in his final speech, he said, "All we say to America is, be true to what you said on paper." Today, it's my honor to welcome those papers to Atlanta, a city whose story has been defined by the distance between ideas and practice. For 250 years, Americans have argued, struggled, failed, and tried again to close the difference between our principles and our actions. Today, Atlanta has become an emblem of the 21st century South, one that is dynamic and forward-looking. A city that has spent generations doing the hard work of attempting to meet the ideals first set forth on paper 250 years ago. To tell Atlanta's story honestly, it's to hold all of this together: the aspiration and the failure, the injustice and the progress, the pain and the possibility. That is why it is especially fitting that Atlanta is the only stop the Freedom Plane is making in the original 13 colonies. Our history reminds us that our ideals alone are not enough. They must be tested, challenged, expanded, and defended by each generation. The American experiment has never been perfect, but has shown again and again a remarkable capacity for growth and resilience. This year, Atlanta History Center marks its own centennial, 100 years of preserving this complicated, remarkable story. May the semi-sesquicentennial of the Declaration of Independence invite us not only to remember, but to recommit, to close the difference between what was written and what is lived. Thank you, and welcome to Atlanta, Freedom Plane. We're also proud to welcome our French friends today. Among the documents on the aircraft is the 1783 Treaty of Paris, which formally ended the Revolutionary War and recognized the United States as an independent nation, made possible in no small part by France. And the French were the first country to recognize America as a separate country. That partnership reminds us that Atlanta's founding was always an international story, and that the French people were indispensable in achieving our military victory. I'm honored to welcome today French Consul Deschanel, whose nation stood with us then as it does now. Consul General.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor to join you today as we welcome the arrival of the Freedom Plane, carrying some of the most significant documents in the history of the United States, including the Treaty of Paris, which formally recognized American independence in 1783. I'd like to warmly thank the National Archives Foundation and the Atlanta History Center for associating the Consulate General of France in Atlanta with this historic moment. As the United States' oldest ally, France is proud to join the United States this year in celebrating the 250th anniversary of American independence. 250 years ago, France stood with the American people in the fight for independence. France's decisive military and diplomatic support helped secure America's independence. In the 20th century, the United States stood by France during its darkest hours, during World War I, and then helping to liberate my country from tyranny during World War II. Throughout history, our nations have supported one another in defending the core values we share: liberty, democracy, and justice. Those illustrious examples from the past are enduring proof of what we can achieve when our two countries join forces in a partnership rooted in mutual respect, trust, and shared strategic vision. I'm delighted that the people from Atlanta will soon be able to discover, through the Freedom Plane exhibition, the enduring ties that unite our two countries. Long live the friendship between France and the United States and the shared ideals that guide us. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to welcome Marcy Collier Overstreet, the president of our Atlanta City Council, to say some words in welcoming these documents to the city of Atlanta.
Thank you, Mr. Hale. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the City of Atlanta, it is indeed my honor to welcome you to today's celebration of the arrival of the Freedom Plane National Tour documents that forged a nation. I am pleased to bring greetings on behalf of our mayor, Andre Dickens, who unfortunately could not be with us today, but most certainly sends his warmest regards for this occasion. Atlanta is proud to be one of only 8 cities selected to host this extraordinary traveling exhibition. As a city deeply rooted in the pursuit of freedom, justice, and opportunity, we are honored to serve as a destination for this powerful national experience. For the first time in history, original founding era documents are taking flight across the country, bringing the story of our nation directly to the people. Through the leadership of the National Archives and Records Administration and the generous support of the Boeing Company, these priceless pieces of American history are traveling aboard a specially designed Boeing 737, reminding us that the ideals that shaped the nation continue to guide us today. The journey began earlier this month at the National World War I Museum at the Memorial in Kansas City. And we are honored that Atlanta is the next stop on the remarkable national tour. In just a few days, residents, our Atlanta residents and Metro Atlanta residents and visitors alike will have the opportunity to experience these historic documents firsthand when the exhibition opens at the Atlanta History Center on March 27th through April 12th. I repeat, March 27th through April 12th. Best of all, this experience will be available free of charge to the public, ensuring that families, teachers, students, and the history enthusiasts across our city can participate in this once-in-a-generation opportunity. As we look ahead to America's 250th anniversary, this tour invites all of us to reflect on the courage, the vision, and the sacrifice that forged our nation, and to recommit ourselves to the ideals of liberty, democracy, and unity that continue to define it. Atlanta has always been a city where history meets progress, where the past inspires the future. We celebrate not only the documents that shaped our nation, but also the enduring promise of freedom that they represent. Thank you to the National Archives, to the Boeing Company, to Mr. Hale at the Atlanta History Center, and most of all, to all of the partners that made this historic tour possible. And thank you to everyone gathered here today for helping us welcome the Freedom Plane to Atlanta. Welcome to our great city, and enjoy this incredible journey with our great city. Thank you.
And now we will have the Georgia National Guard assist with the transfer of the documents from the Freedom Plane. Following the transfer, the formal program will conclude, and we hope to see you all at the exhibition when it opens at the Atlanta History Center.